Welcome to the museum, or is it the house? I've been doing canoe trips since I was 6 or 8 years old in camp and so on. I did a canoe trip on the Des Moines River in Quebec near Ottawa. And as we were going along, one day I see this piece bobbing. This piece bobbing is heavy and bobbing in the water, and I just liked it. So I took it in with us. We had to do about 4 or 5 portages to drag this along. I dragged it home, and then after that, I went looking for them everywhere. This is one of our favorites. It's called the candle, or the flame, or the lantern. And what's interesting is the beavers, when they can't find a rock, they make a rock. And this was in the process. They just hadn't cut that last little bit when we found this in the water. And since we live on a lake, which by coincidence is called Lac Castor, Beaver Lake, amazingly, I have found, I have probably 50 or more showable, pieces, beautiful pieces. This piece I found in the water in the lake here. It must have been sitting there for years, maybe decades, I don't know, but years. To me, it's like a Henry Moore. It's like not a reclining woman, but a standing woman. The vast majority came from this one little lake. This lake is 2 kilometers long. It's inhabited only at one end. There's about 15 houses on the lake. This is the lake. Our house is this one around here. This is the Beaver Dam over here. This is the Beaver Dam. It goes to the back lake. Most of these pieces came from this lake. There are 2 million lakes in Canada. Imagine what's out there. I took another piece and put it kind of like a halo on top of the sculpture. So here's a collection of various pieces. That's like a spark coming out of a piece of wood on top. This is a rock. When they can't find a proper rock, it's a rock made out of wood. Again, this is just interesting forms and shapes and colors and sizes. This one I found near the trail, very heavy. It must be, I would guess it's oak, and it may be the only piece of oak in the whole collection. It's obviously made by beavers. It's obviously all the bark, that's their food, right? So all the bark is carefully taken off. And I just like the looks of it. It's not like driftwood. Driftwood is created by nature. These are made. And then there's this whole range across there from black to gray to white to off-white. Some of them have a name or some thought. This is kind of like a snob with his nose in the air. There's like an actor performing on stage. This one has no particular connotation that way. It's just a beautiful white piece that's been here for decades and is just as white today. And look at how clean they took all the bark off except the tips. It's quite amazing. And that one, another one, sort of like a dog. This beaver collection of beaver sculptures brings nature right into the house. So they're all over the walls and everything. And in this space, there's probably 25 or 30 beaver sculptures all worked in. Where we put them is important. But Dulcie and I spent a lot of time kind of, the right angle and the right height just to get it just perfectly. In the lake, they're as they are. If I take them off the land, I wash them in the water, clean them off, get rid of the mud and the dirt, but that's all. Don't do anything else. I have a principle. I never take them off the lodges, and I never take them off the dams. I take what they leave behind. Sometimes I make use of these things. So, for example, I'm an engineer, right? So I built this as a door opener, or closer, not opener, but closer. This piece has been there for a long time. I just love the way it nestles into the stair. And this, kind of like an animal, if you get it from this end or any end, I guess you see the eye. It's quite remarkable. We've got a couple up here, kind of gazing at each other. And then I have to take you to the zoo. This is the zoo. It's the main bathroom. And we've got all these animals here. Some kind of porpoise or something, God knows, or maybe this is a dragon. I mean, it looked to me it's like a dragon. This is a piece I found fairly recently. I think the gray with the white is really terrific. And here we've got some animals, maybe an antelope or maybe two antelopes. So if we come upstairs to the bedroom, there's some quite remarkable pieces in the bedroom. This is maybe the most striking piece of all. I call it reclining beaver. It's amazing that a piece of wood would be shaped like that. Just I don't know what the original tree looked like. I love these pieces that are partially done, and the red rust color of the bark against the white. I just think it's fabulous. And it just fits so beautifully right there. Same thing with those three pieces over there, each one over a different window. So this was pulled out of our lake years ago. Quite exceptional. I call it Michael Jackson bobbit. I call it Michael Jackson because it looks like it's dancing. And I call it bobbit because Bobbit was a woman who became quite famous for punishing her husband who was unfaithful. But it's also hermaphrodite in the sense that it's both sexes, and it's both sexes on both sides, especially on this side. So very interesting piece. I get just immense pleasure. Every single piece, it's almost like your children, you know, every little piece is precious. So this is one of the newer pieces. I haven't decided what to do with it yet. I probably picked it up 2 weeks ago. Never seen one like this. It looks like coat hangers almost. It is perfectly smooth. It's like somebody's polished it. Here I started to play with, I became the artist a little bit, just seeing how I could combine them. And then we've got some menacing looking ones up there, root structures. You don't want to wake up to something like this in the bedroom. These two are really interesting. Look how delicate this is. They must have taken the bark off this thin thing. And there's the evidence of beaver, I forget where it is, but there's one place where it's clearly done by beavers. So outside, we've got another holding area with just pieces that are nice. I don't think they're displayable necessarily, but I keep them. You never know what I'll do. Believe it or not, this is beaver. But if we go down here, I guess the proof is in the pudding. You can see it's beaver. So I kind of frame the house with it. Do I see a connection between my writing on management and rebalancing society and organizations and this collection? The short answer is no, in the sense that I don't try and connect it or see a kind of compulsive connection between the two. But you see analogies. You know, beavers are engineers. Beavers construct. Beavers work in teams. They do project management. When I was casting around for something to illustrate community and communityship in my writing, it occurred to me this really represents community and communityship, and this represents smaller group. I have always described management as a sort of triangle of art, science, craft, and management as a practice at the intersection of art, craft, and science. I see what beavers do as, we could say, serendipitous science, inadvertent art. They're inadvertent artists, but they are careful craftsmen. It's craft the way we use the word craft. you know what? Nature is much more creative than humankind. This is amazing. Just look at it. They ate part of the bark, left part of it behind. You've got a beautiful rust color here. You've got the heavy bark, the gray. It's spectacular. If people don't get it, that's their problem. Not my problem. I don't care. I have a thick skin, so I don't care if people look at me as some kind of nutcase. But I think the whole collection is amazing.